Tonight, minority in Parliament stands firm in attempt to block vetting of Chief Justice nominee Paul Baffoe-Bonnie, as they insist Parliament must halt process on the vetting of the acting CJ until all court cases filed by Justice Torkornoo are determined.
Our own standing orders provide that when there are matters still pending in courts, Parliament should hesitate in considering those matters on the plenary. And I think that this is one of such instances where Parliament must tarry a while.
But can the minority succeed in blocking the vetting of the CJ nominee when the final decision to admit their motion lies solely with the Speaker of the House? We'll be back to interrogate this, plus what other options are on the table for the minority. Well, top story, as always, is brought to you by Telecel, connecting energies, holy insecticide spray and coil. Enjoy a holy sleep, and by Showed Pension Trust into the future with you. Now, the minority in Parliament is standing firm in their attempt to block the vetting of Chief Justice nominee Paul Baffoe-Bonnie, insisting that the process should be halted until all court cases filed by Justice Torkornoo are cleared. This move has sparked a showdown in Parliament, with a final decision to admit their motion lying solely with the Speaker of the House. Justice Torkornoo has, in the last few months since processes for her removal were triggered, filed a number of cases, including injunctions on her process, and in some challenged the basis for her removal. The two cases left standing now are the ones before the ECOWAS Court and the Supreme Court here in Ghana. We'll listen to the minority presser shortly, but first, listen to the leader of the minority caucus, Alexander Afenyo-Marking, speak on PM Express on Monday, explain why they, the minority, believe Justice Torkornoo is still Ghana's Chief Justice, and why they will not back down on this particular matter, and that has, probably led them to file this particular motion. Listen.
Will you vet Baffoe-Bonnie?
Oh, all our cards are on the table. We'll get there.
Including not vetting him and boycotting the vetting, because you are the ranking on that. You are the vice
boycotting
chair,
is
vice
out.
chair.
Boycotting is out.
So categorically, you will not boycott.
We will not boycott it. Anybody who is expecting us to boycott, I say here and now, we will never boycott it.
So what will you do instead?
We will do what is right. He himself must know that there is a Chief Justice. He himself must know.
And who is the Chief Justice?
He knows who is the Chief Justice.
I'm asking you. You suggested
he knows who the Chief Justice is.
They only act as an acting Chief Justice.
So he knows that he's acting.
Yes.
He knows he's acting, and he knows that there's a substantive Chief Justice.
And who is that?
The lady has a case before you. You know that you are to empanel. If you want to rule, empanel the court, determine the matter, and then bring a finality. Then we can talk.
You're saying that Torkornoo is still the substantive CJ?
Well, it is to be known by him that it is the case. The woman has a case before you challenging the processes. You've refused to empanel the court.
But the warrant of the president is final.
The president has discharged his constitutional duty.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about the president.
So
I'm talking about the processes. Listen to me. I'm talking about the processes and her rights as a citizen of Ghana and a public office holder.
Well, today in Parliament, the minority has, in a turn-off event, announced the notice of a motion to halt the parliamentary vetting process of the CJ nominee. MP for Kojo, Alhassan Tampoli, is one of the signatories to the particular motion.
Torkornoo had been suspended, I believe, sometime in April, and then the country has not ground to a halt. So there's no need to be in a haste to consider all these processes. Part of our democratic dispensation is that anybody who is aggrieved by any administrative body, whether it's a constitutional body, executive or parliamentary body, has a right to proceed to courts. And it's important that we give meaning and effect to these provisions that are in the Constitution. Not to say that the Parliament is not independent. The judiciary and Parliament are both independent but coordinate. in status. And in order not to, cause a lot of confusion, our own standing orders provide that when there are matters still pending in courts, Parliament should hesitate in considering those matters on the plenary. And I think that this is one of such instances where Parliament must tarry a while for the processes to be completed at the judiciary before we can proceed.
Well, on this particular motion, he says that the decision taken by the minority caucus is a principled position which is not against the person of the Chief Justice nominee, Paul Baffoe-Bonnie.
Assuming the motion is not taken, what's going to happen?
Yeah.
What's going to happen when we get there, we'll cross. Definitely when we get there, we'll cross. But we think that this is a procedure that is unassailable. It is grounded in the Constitution, it's grounded in the standing orders of Parliament, and it's grounded in the time-tested convention and practices of Parliament and legislature across the world. If it was any other person, we would still have made the same case. And if Justice Baffoe-Bonnie himself was in the position of Justice Torkornoo, we would have done this same press conference and would have raised this same motion before him. So it's a matter of principle. It's a matter of principle.
So let's take you to Parliament now, where our Parliamentary Affairs correspondent, Kweku Asante, is joining with some details. Kweku, what will happen next after the filing of this particular notion of motion?
So this, like you said, is a notice. It has gone to the office of the clerk. The clerk of Parliament will process it, and it will ultimately go to the desk of the Speaker of Parliament, Alban Bagbin. Alban Bagbin will look at the rules of Parliament and the wording of the motion and determine whether the motion meets, or the notice of motion or the proposed motion meets the requirements of the motion. And if he so admits it, it will then be listed on the order paper. Then it will come to the floor for a debate. So the motion itself will be moved by the sponsors. It will be seconded, and then it will be debated vigorously on the floor by both sides, and then a vote will be taken. So ultimately, there are two hurdles that the minority would have to cross when it comes to this. They first need to get the Speaker of Parliament to sign off on this and accept the motion and then list it on the order paper. When it does, then they have to go again and see if they can convince as many NDC MPs to join them to, as it were, pass the resolution. And so it's a fait accompli, really. They will not succeed ultimately in doing this if it turns into a political footballing game where the NDC sticks their gun. We know they have 185 MPs plus 4 independents. That's 189. They can win all votes on the floor if they so decide, and they bring their members to the floor. So if the minority get the Speaker to accept it, it will be listed, it will be debated, and it will be voted on. If they win, which is a very long stretch, then Baffoe-Bonnie does not get his vetting until all the processes are concluded. But that is a very long shot. And according to some people that I've been speaking to, they do recognize that they have a very, very difficult job when it comes to getting this vote and succeeding at it. But they want to give it a shot anyway, despite the fact that they know they may not get the support of the majority.
Grateful to you, Kweku Asante, getting us to understand what the matters are. We have the MP for Gushewu himself on the line, who is one of the signatories to this particular notice of motion, Hassan Tampoli. Grateful to you, sir, for joining us here. Now, for the Kweku has explained what will happen. Your leader said your side will not boycott the vetting, which means you were all in for this. So, what is informing this new turn of event to block it? Hassan, do I have you? Okay. Hassan Tampoli has, we're yet to get him, but let me bring in Inusa Fuseni, who is a former member of parliament and a lawyer himself. I'm grateful to you, sir, for joining us here. Now, if you look at the process that Kweku has explained, it's quite a stretch for the minority to conceive an idea to block it. But it helps in the democracy we are practicing. So where do you sit on this particular notion of motion that the MP, the minority has filed? And will they succeed, looking at the tax that they need to fulfill before they get success in this?
Thank you for having me. I think that at best it's a futile attempt by the minority to halt the process of the vetting of the nominated Chief Justice, Baffoe-Bonnie. Like your reporter has said, They are not going to succeed. They are not going to succeed in this endeavor because you need to convince a majority of the members of parliament to side with you. I mean, convincing the majority is already a hurdle. Getting more than 15 members of parliament of the majority to support you is nearly impossible. And so I just think that, yes, it's a long shot at holding the parliament in abeyance to ensure that the matters pending before the court in relation to the former Chief Justice are disposed of. It's a very, very long shot.
But don't they have but don't they have a point when they say allow the court processes to run out before the nomination is done or vetted? Don't they have a point in that?
We don't have a point. We simply don't have it. They have moved the matter of the Chief Justice into Parliament, and they're trying to use parliamentary procedures to aid the former Chief Justice in a battle against her removal from office. That's what they're trying to do.
But if they don't do anything,
they simply do not have a point legally and constitutionally.
Why don't they have a point legally?
Legally is the Constitution that gives the president the power to nominate when there is no Chief Justice. And the president has exercised that power under Article 144(1) of the Constitution. And Article 144 provides the procedure. It should be in consultation with the Council of State and on approval by Parliament. The approval process is for the nominated Chief Justice to go through vetting. So Parliament has been given that responsibility consequent upon the nomination of a person by the President to be Chief Justice to vet that person. So the law mandates Parliament to do it. How do you say that having been given that authority, Parliament should not exercise that authority? But when everything leading to the invocation of the jurisdiction of Parliament to vet the nominated Chief Justice has been complied with.
But when the same process that led to the removal of the Chief Justice is being challenged in court, shouldn't they allow the process to conclude before any action is taken on getting a permanent CJ?
So you must understand that the issue of the Chief Justice is concluded from the point of view of Article 146. It's concluded. And we must have a Chief Justice. Now, what we are doing presently is to rely on certain provisions of the Constitution to try to fault the removal process. But as for compliance with Article 146 of the 1992 Constitution, it's complete.
Okay. Stay with me. I'm grateful to you. Stay with me. Let me bring in Alhassan Tampoli Sulemana, who is MP for Gushewe and one of the signatories to this particular notice. I'm grateful to you for joining us here. Now, your leader created a perfect impression that your side will not boycott vetting, which meant that you are all in for the vetting. So what is informing this new turn of event and for you to decide that you're going to block the vetting?
Thank you very much. Good evening, and good evening to your cherished listeners and to my senior brother and senior counsel as well. I think that the issue before us is more of a constitutional procedural propriety. We are not in an anarchic society. We are governed by laws and procedures and rules and conventions. And so it is that if a person is aggrieved by a decision by any authority, be the executive, legislator, or even the Chief Justice itself, there should be remedies for the person. And that is the remedy that the Justice Torkornoo is seeking. But if you haven't completed the process for reviewing the propriety, the legality, and appropriateness of the decision to remove her, how do you fill the office? Don't forget don't forget that it is very, very likely or very, very possible that the court can take a position that the procedures leading to the removal of Justice Torkornoo were flawed. And for that matter, her position remains the same, and so she has to be reinstated. On which chair is she going to sit on? So currently we have an acting Chief Justice, so there's no lacuna at all when Justice Torkornoo was suspended in April 2025. Up to this time, there has not been any paralysis as far as the operation of the judiciary arm of government is concerned.
Okay.
So we are saying, what is the haste? What are we in a hurry to do? What are we in a hurry to do? Whose wishes are we trying to fulfill? When there are pending cases before the same judiciary, and the judiciary would insist that if matters have not been concluded, nobody is expected to take any action. And these are tracts for everybody to know. So I'm saying, and we are saying as a minority, that the procedures before the same judiciary are still pending.
Okay.
They have an obligation to give effect, to complete and bring finality to all the matters that are pending before the same judiciary, and let us have closure before you can say that the office is now completely out of the hands of Justice Torkornoo. But as it is right now, we go to courts. She has 6 cases before the courts, high courts, judicial review, constitutional interpretation, and all of that. And she has 3 cases before the ECOWAS courts, one of which has been withdrawn for very obvious reasons because they were interim measures which have been withdrawn.
But Mr. Dampole,
all these cases,
Mr. Dampole, but isn't it why when these cases, as you say, the challenging that particular conclusion, when it's done, the judges could say that then the appointment of the CJ is null and void. Doesn't the law create the room for that?
No, you see, you don't have to create any constitutional crisis anymore, because there is a procedure for removal for Chief Justice under Article 146,
which have been followed.
Please hold on. If you complete the process of giving effect to the appointment that the president has made under Article 144, and then Justice Baffoe-Bonnie is confirmed, the only way you can remove him is to trigger Article 146.
Okay.
Don't know whether you understand me.
I get
you
it.
You have to trigger Article 146, stated misbehavior, incompetence, or infirmity of body and mind.
But I'm also asking.
It cannot be done. It cannot be done through any other way, other means. I don't know whether you get.
No, I get it. But
so let's not get to that stage. Let's continue to hold the status quo until, and the power is within the hands of the acting Chief Justice and the judiciary to bring finality to this matter.
My point was that if, let's assume at the end of this process that she is seeking review for, if she wins the argument and the court says that the process that was used to remove you are unfair and therefore you should be the CJ, doesn't it mean that whether the CJ Paul Baffoe-Bonnie would have been confirmed or not, it's null and void, and therefore then Gertrude Torkornoo is ultimately the CJ?
That is another interpretation which is fair. But what we are saying is that under the Constitution, the procedure and the only grounds upon which a Chief Justice or a Justice of the Superior Court may be removed have been prescribed. And I haven't seen anything that is additional to this. And we are saying that procedure is what we want to be clarified. We have gone through a procedure. You have given prima facie determination that there is a good case for my removal. Where is the report? I haven't been finished with the report. Now, what are these grounds? Which issues constituted the prima facie determination? Is it all the petition? Is it one? And if it is all of them, which issues were part of the issues that were seen as potent enough to form a prima facie? Now, the procedure has been gone through. The procedural improprieties that she raised before the court, all of them were ignored. The procedure is purported to have completed. Up to this, Justice Torkornoo has not even been served with a copy of the report that was given to the president, which grounded her removal. Procedural propriety. She hasn't even been given a copy of that report. Now, how do you say that the rules of natural justice is just by hearing the other party? Inherent in the rules of natural justice is to exhaust. Justice should not just be done, it should be manifestly seen to be done. And that's what we are saying. Let's give the Justice Torkornoo every opportunity to vindicate her rights before we say that we are going to take her out of the office. Honestly, I don't think it is a very wholesome procedure. Her removal is still in abeyance. It hasn't been concluded until the determination of the pending cases in the courts.
For you, stay with me. Let me bring in, the honourable former member of Parliament for Tamale Central, Yunus Hussaini, back again. So you've listened to Hassan Tampuli there. Both of you are lawyers. His argument is that once the process is being challenged, per the tenet of the law, you need to give her the processes for her to complete her process. Before then, you can get a new CJ. Else, if a new CJ is installed, the process to remove her will be for you to trigger Article 146, and they don't want that to happen.
Yeah, so I've listened carefully to my brother, colleague, former colleague of Parliament, his argument, and it appears to me that he's arguing the legal case for Torkornoo, and Parliament is not a court. That is not a place to argue the legal case of Torkornoo. It's the court, and the case is in court. Parliamentary processes are used to enhance our democracy. And the parliamentary process here is that there is a bifurcated method of appointing a Chief Justice. The nomination must be from the President, and the approval of the nominee must be from Parliament. When the two coincide, then the act is consummated. The Chief Justice is sworn, is nominated, is sworn, approved, and sworn into office. So the fact that you have not been able to stop the President from nominating a Chief Justice should also animate your thinking that you cannot stop Parliament from performing its constitutional duty under Article 1441. That should be clear to you. If not, you would have stopped the President from nominating the Chief Justice. To read Article 146 very carefully. My reading of Article 146 convinces me that the framers of the Constitution did not intend that there will be an appeal against the decision of the committee established under Article 1466 in respect of the removal of the Chief Justice. If the framers of the Constitution had intended that, they would have provided for it. And the framers and our Constitution, 1992, does not shy away from giving the right to people to challenge the decision of quasi-judicial bodies if they want to do so. And they are replete in our Constitution. The fact that the constitutional drafters and the framers of the Constitution did not provide a right to a person hard done by Article 146 of the Constitution should clearly tell you that it was not the intendment of the framers of the Constitution. For every parliamentarian knows, unless it's for the purposes of mischief, that when you bring a motion to Parliament, you must win a 2/3 majority. Mr. Tampuli should tell me, Honorable Tampuli should tell me, how they intend to win 2/3 majority in the House if it is not their intention to bring former Justice Torkornoo's case to Parliament. How do they intend? And also continue with the politicization of the removal process.
But what if you listen to them, their motive is to prevent, quote and unquote, an injustice from happening. Don't they have a right as legislators to do that?
The parliament is not the forum.
Okay.
The proper forum to vindicate a right is not parliament. It's the court. And the court cannot restrain parliament from the performance of its duties under the constitution. Mind you, we have a written constitution that has established the various arms of government and also established bodies under the constitution and given those bodies their mandate, their jurisdiction, their authority, the remit of their authorities. And insofar as those bodies and arms of government are operating within their mandate, the powers conferred on them by the constitution, I fail to see how you can restrain that body from doing that. That will be the judiciary or parliament being used for purposes for which it was not designed.
I'm grateful to you, Honorable Inus Ofori, former MP for Tamale Central.
I think that it's appropriate that I speak to just one of the issues that was raised.
Yeah, so you can add it to.
If you look at Order 103F of the Standing Orders of Parliament, it says that a motion shall relate to a definite issue and not be the subject matter of an action on which a judicial decision is pending in such a way as may, in the opinion of the Speaker, prejudice the interests of parties to the action. What I'm trying to get from this thing is that what the Honorable Minister Fuseni has said completely fights against the rules, the Standing Orders of Parliament, which he himself participated in. In fact, he was ranking member of the Constitutional and Legal Affairs Committee. So he is aware of this thing, that when matters are pending before court, the legislature is very hesitant, all right, as a coordinate, arm of government, to be interfering in matters which are pending before court, so that we give respect to decisions of the court and not act in a way that would constitute what we call sub judice.
But the matter in court is not challenging the nomination, is it?
Court. Issues are pending before court, and I don't know. So if issues are pending before court, because there's a constitutional imperative for the president to appoint, subject to consultation with the Council of State and prior approval of Parliament, there can be no other means.
But other court processes.
That is not the
no. But other court processes challenging the nomination of Baffoe-Bonnie as CJ.
The procedures that the Torkornoo has triggered has the way of impacting on the job that Parliament is being asked to perform. So if Justice Torkornoo goes to court and then it says that the Supreme Court says that, okay, the procedure was improper, it's unjustifiable, it's unlawful, it's irrational, and so on and so forth. I mean, what happens? Are we not going to have two chief justices in the country?
If your motion doesn't succeed, what will you do?
When we get to that bridge, we'll cross. But for now, we believe that the motion is competent enough. It is difficult for it not to succeed.
Okay.
I mean, there is a 99%, possibility of its success than it not succeeding.
I'm grateful to you. Alhassan Tampui is MP for Kojo and also a signatory to this particular notice of motion. This has been Top Story, brought to you by Telecel, Holy Insecticide Spray and Coil, and also by Shield Pension Trust. Up next is Newsnight.
In the next 60 minutes, your news night, following weeks of uncertainty at public hospitals across the country that compels the return of cash and carry in some facilities. Tonight, the Health Ministry has referred the $100 million Lightwave Health Information Management System contract to the Attorney General while announcing the introduction of a new system.
the AG's advice is maybe what will end us or what will make us retrieve whatever we need to retrieve from the vendor. But I can assure you that the AG will expedite action on this matter because it's an emergency.
But what is the cost of the new system?
When you look at the details of the contract, how much it costs the state to do what we are going to do, we are going to use half. We are going to use half of what they use to do what we are going to do.
Also tonight, Speaker of Parliament threatens to declare seats of several absentee MPs vacant as Parliament continues to record very low attendance.
Please, we have the standing orders. We know what they say. We'll be taking action to make sure that we compel members to sit or to be considered to have vacated their seats.
And tonight, in the latest episode of our Dear Mahama series, we'll take you to Elmina, where residents are crying out to President Mahama as many are forced to use sachet water for bathing and cooking.
So this government is doing well for us or what? Let the water flow. That is what we need. I will speak to him directly.
Plus, major towns across the central region still reeling from a worsening water crisis driven by the relentless activities of illegal miners along key river bodies, with the latest being Yamaransa, where families spend over 7 days queuing with buckets, desperate for a drop of water in business.
Economics Professor Peter Korte cautions against Bank of Ghana's fixation on sharply reducing inflation at the detriment of job creation.
I'll take your views and comments here on Newsnight. 05511119997. My name is Evans Mensah. And we have the very latest for you all here on Newsnight right after this.
I send them, you get them. I get them, I send them. I get them, I pay them.
Telesale cash.
I get them, I take them.
Telesale cash.
You get them.
I send them. Telesale cash.
I send them, you get them.
Telesale cash.
I get them.
I buy them, I take them.
I pay them. I send them.
Telesale cash. Telesale cash.
Experience the ultimate convenience of sending money on Telesale Cash. Sending money from Telesale Cash to Telesale Cash is free. You can also make payments to merchants on all networks. Enjoy best value and total security with Telesale Cash.
Telesale, connecting energies.
Couldn't sleep at night. Mosquitoes will be whining my ears, bugging me all night long. Till I got a remedy. Now I'll be spraying them away with holy insecticide spray. Me I go spray them away with holy insecticide spray. When I sleep, me dana with holy insecticide spray.
Holy mosquito coil, holy multi-purpose insecticide spray. Ghana Kron Kron. For bulk purchase, call 0302 681582. This advert is FDA approved.
No. You look so relaxed and cheerful these days. What's your secret?
No secret, Kofi. I just sorted out my retirement with Shield Pension Trust. You should talk to them.
Retirement? A small time before pension.
Share. The earlier you start, the better. And Shield Pension Trust makes this so easy for you. They've got amazing plans to choose from. I even signed up for the Shield Cedi Crow a day personal pension scheme, which lets you save as little as 1 Ghana Cedi a day. So what's your retirement? Isn't that great?
1 Cedi a day.
Exactly. And the best part is, I sign up automatically on the Dacia Promoting Plan, which guarantees me medical insurance when I go on retirement.
Hey, you've convinced me. I need to sign up now.
Kofi is making a move to secure his future and health insurance when he goes on retirement. What about you? Go to Shield Pension Trust or call us now on 050-915-0253 and we'll guide you through securing your pension tomorrow. Shield Pension Trust, into the future with you.
Now Announcing Ghana's first unlimited photocopier leasing. Yes, from just 983 Ghana cedis, you can lease a multifunctional photocopier and print unlimited. Yes, unlimited and free paper every month. Guess what? That's not all. Toners, repairs, and maintenance all are free. And oh, I'm not kidding at all. And we cover the whole country. Yes, the whole country. What are you waiting for? Just visit us at www.valexlease.com or call 0244 644048. I repeat, or call 0244 644048. Remember, terms and conditions apply. Valex Lease, affordable document management solutions.
This is really good. Missing that real taste of Ghana? Your favorite kitchen is calling. Living Room Restaurant, famous for mouth-watering authentic Ghanaian dishes, has a brand new home. We've moved. Find your favorite food now at our bigger, better spot on the Trinity Avenue, Baalishi, East Legon. It's the same incredible flavors, same warm Ghanaian hospitality, just a fresh new location, and now with live band on weekends. You can also book our lovely spaces for your private event at the same venue and enjoy the same great service. Visit us today at Trinity Avenue, Baalishi, East Legon. Living Room, simply delicious.
You're so live here on News Night on Joy 99.7 FM, and later we'll explore why no school from the 5 northern regions made it to the NSMQ 2025 quarterfinals, all here on News Night. It has been weeks of uncertainty at public hospitals across the country, with some health facilities compelled to adopt the dreaded cash and carry system. Well, tonight, Health Minister Mensah has announced the introduction of a new health information management system after the current service providers took the system offline. Mr. Kando says he has already referred the service provider, Lightwave Health Information Management System, to the Attorney General following an audit of its contract. The software, which enables hospitals to access patient records, verify NHIS details, and process clinical and administrative information efficiently, reducing paperwork and delays, has been down for weeks. Senior Project Manager at Lightwave e-Healthcare Solutions, Erica J., had explained to Joy News this week why the system is currently down.
Currently, it is mainly administrative and contractual issues. Now, we tried as much as possible to get audience with the minister to let them know where we are and then the way forward. We didn't hear anything. Then all of a sudden we received complaints from facilities that, oh, you are doing an audit and you are not informing us, and we said we are not aware. People paraded hospitals initially pretending as Lightwave staff.
Well, today, speaking at the Government Accountability Series at the Jubilee House, the Health Minister says a March 2019 contract worth $100 million required Lightwave e-Health Solutions to deploy a comprehensive health information management system across 950 health facilities nationwide. However, only 450 facilities were covered, despite a $77 million payment representing over 70% of the contract sum and a 2-year extension that ended in December 2024. Now, the National Health Insurance Authority had also expressed concern about the system downtimes affecting patient services.
Again, I have stated that the contract sum was $100 million. At the end of 31st December 2024, although 450 out of the 950 had been connected, the vendor had been paid about $77 million. Clearly, more than 70% of the total amount had been paid, and less than 50% of the work has been done. At that point, we had to refer everything to the AG and the appropriate quarters, including the security, for advice and appropriate action. Let me state that since we began this journey, all stakeholders have been on board. So from the CEOs of teaching hospitals, medical superintendent, IOCO, AG, Minister for Communication, everybody has been on board. And so the issues of legality and the security issues have been referred to the AG for advice and the appropriate action. So the AG's advice is maybe what will end us or what will make us retrieve whatever we need to retrieve from the vendor. But I can assure you that the AG will expedite action on this matter because it's an emergency.
Well, there are questions tonight about the cost of the new health information management system announced by the health minister today. Mr. Kando has been providing answers.
New contract, how much? When we went through and let me make the point that we are not starting everything afresh. It is only the software we are dealing with. The software and how we can own the software, the integration, and the middleware. That's what we're dealing with. So we are building on the infrastructure. The infrastructure has already been established. And so we are not going to go back to buy new laptops and what have you. So where we are, when you look at the details of the contract, how much it costs the state to do what we are going to do, we are going to use half. We are going to use half of what they use to do what we are going to do. So I can assure you that there's value for money.
I want to bring in Presidential Affairs Correspondent Maxwell Agbagba, who was at the Jubilee House for us today for that news conference. He joins us right now on the line. Maxwell, did the minister provide any clarity when the hospitals that are currently experiencing the system blackout, when they should be back online and serving patients with this information management system?
Evans, he said they are working around the clock to mitigate the challenge. He says the plan going forward is clear. In the first week, the ministry will begin with the teaching hospitals, the regional hospitals, and the major district hospitals with the highest patient volumes. He said these institutions will be the first to be fully integrated into the system. Now, in the second week, they will extend the rollout to the remaining district hospitals. And then by the third week, the focus will shift to the clinics, health centers, and CHIPS compounds across the country. He said, finally, in the fourth week, they will complete the process and ensure full functionality and access for all.
And so today we have GIMS, and the GIMS is Ghana Health Information Management System, and not for any individual. The next solution was the fact that there was nothing like any exchange, and so we have established an exchange where even if we invite any vendor in, the vendor will then plug in, and we don't have any vendor, we don't have a direct integration to our billing system or to any other sector. You necessarily will have to go through the exchange. The system was monopolized. It was only one person we were dealing with. What is the solution? The solution again is that out of the 950 health facilities, only 450 have been connected, and therefore we have an outstanding of about 500 health facilities. Going forward, we will open up for companies and players in the sector to bid, provided they meet the necessary requirements. In the next 1 week, we are going to begin with the teaching hospitals, the regional hospitals, and the highly populated district hospitals to roll them over onto the system, the GIMS. In the second week, we'll be looking at the rest of the district hospitals, and then in the third week, we'll be looking at the polyclinics, the health centers, and the CHIPS. In the fourth week, we'll do the mop-ups. So I am confidently announcing to the good people of this country that we have a 4 weeks plan that will get us out of this mess.
And Maxwell, he's also accusing the company behind the existing system that is currently offline of blackmail. Tell us more.
Yes, Evans. He said that even at the time the contract with Lightwave expired, the ministry was ready to sign a service and maintenance agreement covering all 450 health facilities so they could continue with work. He explained that the draft agreement stated clearly that before any such contract could be signed, the vendor was required to hand over all health data to the states and grant the ministry full administrative access to the service. He says that the vendor insisted on the removal of those clauses, a request the ministry refused because they believe the state must retain full control and ownership of its data. He said as a result of that, the vendor allegedly took it upon himself to switch off the system at will and make demands as he pleased.
These disruptions and the shutdowns we are experiencing, although we didn't have any contract with the vendor as at the time we took over, we indicated to the vendor that the ministry was ready to sign service maintenance agreements covering the 450 health facilities. In the agreement, we indicated that before we sign such an agreement with you, you have to hand over the data to the state, and you must give us administrative access to the service. The vendor insisted that those clauses must be expunged from the agreement. We cannot expunge those clauses from the agreement because it is the state that must take charge of these data. So the vendor decided to switch the system off as and when he desires and as and when he demands what. And this has gone on for some time now, more than 2 months. And for the past 2 weeks or so, the system has been completely down. If this is not blackmailing, I don't know what it is.
Well, if you have been affected by this, I want to hear from you. And the last time we did this story, we were in the hospitals, and many of you complained to us that you're now being forced to pay out of pocket because they cannot verify your records. Share your thoughts with me if you've experienced this. 055-11-11997. Tonight, Speaker of Parliament Abang Babing has issued a stern warning to MPs to show up for work or risk having their seats declared vacant. The Constitution provides that MPs who are absent themselves for 15 days without permission from the Speaker will vacate their seats. Now, since Parliament resumed last week, the House has been recording low numbers, just as it has been the whole of this year. Speaking at the start of proceedings this morning, the Speaker said he will enforce the attendance rules strictly in this meeting.
It's for good reason we decided that we'll sit in the afternoons so that you can take the morning to attend to committees, prepare your reports, attend to your constituents, and that by 2, then you'll be ready to sit. Again, that's the period you can also interact with the ministries, because there is a time established by law for public servants to report to work and to close from work. And so that is a good time for you to have the opportunity to interact and chase things for and on behalf of your constituents. It's for these good reasons we decided to start sitting at 2. I also encourage the fact that the time people are working, they do not have opportunity to observe you and participate in whatever you do. But in the evenings, they have the opportunity to sit, watch, advise you, and also make some inputs. That, again, we are not taking advantage of. I'm saying this for the last time. I've given directive to the clerks at table to take the records for this meeting. And please, we have the standing orders. We know what they say. We'll be taking action to make sure that we compel members to sit or to be considered to have vacated their seats.
Parliamentary Affairs Correspondent Kweku Asante is with me in the studio. Kweku, how bad is it?
Evans, it's very bad. In fact, since the start of the meeting, the House has barely recorded 50 or even 60 members of Parliament out of the 276 at every point in time. Of course, almost the next day when you look, when you look at the other paper, the votes and proceedings of the next day, it will show that so many people were present, but it would appear they came, they signed later. But on the floor itself, you barely have up to 100 on the floor. That is maximum. In fact, just when we're leaving, before the House will adjourn for the day, there are just about 30, 35 MPs on the floor. And you know, they always say that quorum is dependent on the mood of the House. So when the minority feel like there are issues they are very pressed about, they will raise issues of quorum. Other than that, they don't. They just go about their business as usual as that. The Speaker of Parliament says the people of Ghana are not happy about that, and MPs must show up to work.
I'm not happy the way members value plenary sessions. You yourself, those of you who are always here, I see from your faces that you are with me in this matter. Before usually I commence proceedings, I always take account of those present. I'm not happy with the situation. I did indicate from the very beginning of this meeting that I have the records of attendance for the first meeting and the second meeting. I decided for good reason not to publish them, but to give you the last opportunity. It looks like that is a catastrophic mistake I made. I should have brought it out and referred members to the Privileges Committee.
And there's a fascinating incident unfolding in Parliament on this matter. The House decided to sit at 2 p.m. to get MPs to be punctual. I remember having this, back and forth with yourself because we're not sure when do you report for work because your job is there as a beat correspondent. Now, that didn't work.
Yeah.
They have decided to revert to 10 a.m.?
Yes. In fact, last week, the majority leader, when he was presenting the business statement, decided that the House has now decided to come back to 10 a.m. Because the plan for 2 p.m. was to ensure that MPs, because MPs had claimed that the reason why they were absent at 10 a.m. was because they had to go and lobby for projects at ministries, department agencies, go all over the place. And so that affected their time. Maybe they have committee meetings. So they decided that between morning and 2 p.m., you could do all of that and then dedicate the rest of the day to chamber business. That hasn't worked. Because, in fact, the attendance has even gotten worse. As the majority leader himself conceded last week, by 2 p.m., MPs are exhausted after going around, supposedly lobbying for their constituents, and then there is not much to be done on the floor. They go home or they are sitting in their office. They are just resting. And so the new proposal is that they revert to 10 a.m. In fact, that has been approved by the House, but they say they have to do further consultation with the Speaker. That's why they are still sitting at 2 p.m. And so they've also raised concerns about their health. They say when they sit at 2 p.m., they have to close at 8, 9. By the time they go home, it's 10 o'clock. They are getting sick and all of that. So they've gone back to 10 a.m. It has to take effect perhaps next week when the budget is presented and all the business then start piling on. But still, attendance is particularly poor. If you look at the video from the aerial view in Parliament, it's always a few MPs together with the leadership who are transacting business. And the whole of this year, that has been a story with Parliament.
Is there an indication there is a record in Parliament to suggest that some of the MPs, since this particular session of Parliament began, whether they have really breached that 15 continuous sit-ins in Parliament, absence in Parliament, rule in the Constitution, that should automatically trigger vacation?
Yeah, from our analysis of the data, it would appear so, but we are still trying to triangulate the data so that you get specifically which MPs are there. The Speaker herself conceded in the sounds you've played that, in fact, he has records of some MPs who may have breached that constitutional provision, who may have absented themselves for more than 15 days. But he has decided that there's some clemency ongoing. But this particular meeting is going to enforce that. In fact, since Parliament resumed 2 weeks ago, I know MPs who have not been in the House. They've not been there once. Sometimes the next morning, the other paper come, the votes and proceedings, somehow they've signed, they are up, they are present. Today like this, I could count 40, 45. Tomorrow, when the votes and proceedings come, it will be 230 MPs present out of 275. Then you wonder where were they? Maybe they'll say they were in some committee meeting or the other. And that is what Parliament would have to get clear, whether or not when you're out and about, perhaps you come after Parliament has closed and then you just go to the table office and then you go and sign your name. Does that apply to say that you've come to Parliament? The Speaker will have to answer that question.
I want to bring in Dr. Rashid Rahman, Executive Director of the Africa Center for Parliamentary Affairs, into the conversation. Now joins us via Zoom. And Doc, this is a failure of the Speaker, is it not? Because this problem has a very simple solution. We wrote it into our Constitution that if you absent yourself from Parliament for 15 sit-ins, you automatically vacate your seat. He hasn't enforced that. Isn't that why this persists?
Yes, I mean, indeed, Evan. So I think there are serious challenges to this. So the Speaker can enforce this through the Privileges Committee. I mean, people have to be heard. Once you violate that rule in the standing orders and then in the Constitution, the matter is referred to the Privileges Committee, and then the rest follows. But I have told the Speaker and I've told other leaders of Parliament that, look, it looks like we have gotten to a point where members of Parliament who constitute this Privileges Committee cannot look their colleagues in the face and say you have broken the law, and for that matter, your seat is declared vacant. So I have said that, look, maybe it's about time we decided otherwise and try to see, for instance, maybe what is happening in other countries where there are parliamentary committees that are made up of members who are not just simply members of parliament, but eminent citizens of that republic, so that they can sit in judgment over breaches by members of parliament. Because if we leave this in the hands of MPs, this is not going to happen unless I hope that this time around the speaker is going to be radical in his approach to this, so that there is no dancing around when these matters go to the privileges committee and people actually lose their seats, unless something radical happens, Evans, because this issue is not an issue of the ninth parliament. It's been an issue since the fifth parliament. I remember since Bamford-Addo, every speaker after speaker, they've complained about this, yet nothing really has happened.
It's because of that a whole NGO was then formed, a civil society group was then formed to keep track of
Odikro, yes.
Odikro, exactly. Because it persisted
Yes.
for so long, we now wanted to name and shame.
And shame,
Because
yeah.
the MPs themselves, together with the speaker, had failed to act. And you're right. If the speaker has to be radical, it's simple, as you know, because the 15 sittings is a matter of record that can
Yes.
be verified very easily, and the sanctions enforced. It is not open to debate or questions, because it's so evident. If you have 15 days and you haven't been in parliament, the speaker, many say, lost an opportunity to enforce this in the Adjustable case. And,
Yes.
and that showed to many that, listen, you can get away with murder. We hire them, we pay them, they don't work, and we still pay them more.
Yeah, and indeed, Evans, I think you are right. So I think we are just hypocrites in our country. I mean, let me just be blunt about this. What seems to be clear to you and I in very plain, simple language. You remember when the speaker declared those 4 seats vacant during the run up to the 2024 elections. This matter got to the court, and there were all kinds of interpretations being given to it. I mean, hypocritically, in terms of, this is clear language. You vacate your seat if you decide to contest on, but, it was given a different meaning altogether. And I think in this particular case of the 15 days, very clear to you and I. But if we are not careful, people will start running to court, and then we put politics ahead of decency and ahead of the development of our country. But I totally agree that this time around, I think it's becoming embarrassing, especially with the huge majority that the NDC has. I mean, recently, I think on the first day of the sitting of this meeting of Parliament, I think the NDC was challenged that, look at your back. I mean, you don't even have 30 members of Parliament in the House. I mean, what's going on?
Dr. Rashid Rahman, thank you very much. He's Executive Director of the Africa Center for Parliamentary Affairs. And I want to hear from you. These are your MPs. You employ them. You pay them. And as you're hearing, they are not showing up for work. And they haven't done so for a long, long time. The Speaker is complaining, but the Constitution empowers him to act. Send me a WhatsApp, 055-1111-997. Still ahead here on News 9. The latest episode in a series we call Dear Mahama. We take you to Alameda, where residents are crying out to the President Mahama, as many are forced to use sachet water for bathing and cooking.
So this government is doing well for us, or what? Let the water flow. That is what we need. I will speak to him directly.
And major towns across the central region reeling from a worsening water crisis driven by the relentless activities of illegal miners along key river bodies such as the Pra and Ayimsu rivers. The latest is Yamoransa, where families spend over 7 days queuing with buckets, desperate for a drop of water. All that after business with James. Hello.
Hi, Evans. Coming up in business, economist Professor Peter Korte cautions against Bank of Ghana's fixation on sharply reducing inflation at the detriment of job creation. An Association of Ghana Industries appeals to government to cede more contract to local private businesses to help reduce import. We have details from the Ghana Economic Forum. Business News on Newsnight is brought to you by MTN Business. Welcome to the new world of business. Kingdom Books and Stationery, your number one stop shop for all office essentials, Syntex tanks, and Pepsodent Herbal and Charcoal.
Ah, Ma, have you received the delivery?
See, the rider's bay. Send in the momo.
Okay, star 17.
Ah, Paco. Don't you use a smartphone? Use the momo app, ne?
Huh? Abba app.
Hey, I want to say a millennium, say millennial. Inim. Oh, millennium for ya nyaze. Switch to the app. Oh, you're smart. And now you're secure.
Enter a world of possibilities with the Momo app. Pay your favorite merchant, pay utility bills, and borrow from our wide range of lending services. Move to the app side today. MTN.
Son, we are so proud of you for setting up this hospital. I really love those hospital beds and waiting chairs. By the way, did you import them?
No, Dad, I didn't. I actually got them from Kingdom Books and Stationery right here in Ghana.
Wow. We also bought our office supplies, safes, executive desks, and chairs from Kingdom, and they gave us expert advice on how to set up our office.
Guys, that makes 3 of us. I also got our sofa and bedroom sets, plus our dining hall furniture for our new home from Kingdom.
Wow, Mom, that makes 4 of us. I usually get my stationery items from Kingdom, and my teacher also mentioned that our classroom furniture was provided by Kingdom.
So there you have it. Whenever you're thinking about setting up an office or acquiring furniture for your home, etc., Kingdom Books and Stationery should be your first port of call. With over 40 years experience in the industry, we stock and supply a wide variety of globally sourced office and home furniture, stationery and equipment. Visit our head office,
Takweje, Osu near the Osu Cemetery, Tema near Community 4, Takoradi opposite Vijay Mays Plaza, Cape Coast University Bookshop, Spintex Road near Absa Bank, Atomic Centerpoint Mall, Winneba University Campus, KNUST, the University Bookshop, and Santasi in Kumasi. You can also visit our shop online, www.kingdomstoreonline.com. Hurry while stock lasts. For further inquiries, contact us on 050-162-0810 or 0302-764-101. Email info@kingdomgh.com. Kingdom Books and Stationery Limited, where quality and affordability is assured. Terms and conditions apply.
For many years, we've been solving Ghana's water storage problems with quality tanks. Syntex tank. You know, it is strong, it's tough, and reliable. And now, we're in to solve the #1 problem when it comes to water carriage: our pipes. With the state-of-the-art machinery, Syntex is providing very strong, tough, reliable, high quality, and durable pipes at a reasonable price. This is Syntex Pipes. With Syntex Pipes, water flows wow. I mean, ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta. If they carry water, no wahala. With Syntex Pipe, our water problems are solved. Syntex, are you strong? Are you tough?
Brushing gets more fun with your kids with the new Pepsodent Kids toothpaste. Give your smiles protection that lasts. Grab yours today from a store near you. This advert is FDA approved.
The winning season is back, but this time I am collecting the wins like jollof at a wedding. The luckiest season 3 is here. Your chance to flip your luck or maybe your bank accounts too.
2 easy ways to join. Dial *712#. Hit 1 to buy for you, or 2 to gift a friend. Feeling lucky? Pick 1 for a random number, or hit 2 to choose your own. Pay with mobile money. Done. You're in.
Or go to the luckiestafrica.com, click community tickets, choose your number, or let the system do so for you. You can buy a ticket for your boo or your favorite barber. Pay with Momo or card if you're abroad.
1 ticket could turn your 1 Ghana cedi into 500 times more, and the whole community could win 10 times over.
Dial *712# or log on.
Let's get lucky together, because luck is everywhere.
Every mosquito standing run away.
This advert is FDA approved.
Welcome back. My name is James Ishin. We settle for the details now. Former Director of the Institute of Statistical, Social and Economic Research, Professor Peter Kojo, is cautioning government against pursuing rapid reductions in inflation at the expense of economic growth and job creation. Speaking at the launch of the State of the Ghanaian Economy report in Accra, Professor Kojo noted that while lowering inflation is important for macroeconomic stability, an overly aggressive approach could stifle business activity and slow down recovery efforts. His comment follows remarks by the Governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Johnson Isiama, who indicated that inflation is expected to decline further in the coming month.
I think the key thing is that given how we have performed from the year to date, I think it's fair to say that we seem to be on track in terms of meeting our fiscal targets. Okay, so fiscal consolidation is on track. And again, for 2024, we started the year thinking about the fact that it's an election year, and therefore, in election year, we tend to be a bit loose.
We apologize for the wrong insert. We'll get to that respective voice in our subsequent bulletin. Now, President of the Association of Ghana Industries, Humphrey Nyimdake, has urged the government to support local enterprises through procurement to reduce Ghana's dependence on import. Speaking at the 14th Ghana Economic Forum 2025, he noted that the country's import reliance is hurting foreign exchange reserves and called for stronger investment for local industries.
One would have thought that local content that made MTN and the telecom industry successful today, that is one of the most competitive enterprises we have in Ghana as the telecom sector. But when you do not allow local content to operate, say, in cocoa board, where today all our cocoa sacks are imported, with that procurement power, we should have had about 3-4 cocoa sack producing companies.
You mean we're importing sacks?
Oh, yes. You don't know that?
100%.
And the backward integration into kernel farming that would have created a value chain backwards.
Humphrey Nyimdake as the president of the Association of Ghana Industries. Now, Ghana Breweries PLC has posted outstanding financials for its year ended June 30, 2025. The company recorded profit after tax of 334 million cedis, underscoring Ghana's resilience in the company's 65-year history in the country. The company declared a dividend payment of 10 pesos per share. Board chair Felix Addo said strong cost controls contributed to the remarkable turnover. He made a statement at the company's 53rd annual general meeting held at the Guinness premises in Accra.
Cost improvements is a key factor. I like to also say that managing the financing element, as you know, we do get some inputs abroad. Very little, but still significant. And because of the strengthening of the cedi, our financing cost went down somewhat. We also took price in some of our products like Guinness. we had to occasionally or continuously mark up the price. So we did get some price increases also. But at the end of the day, a good strategic management, hard efforts by our team, the staff team, in terms of cost efficiencies, all aided. We combine the recognition and reputation of the Diageo brands, and we have the might and capacity of Castel Group to support us. So, fair sailing.
Felix Addo is the board chair of Guinness Ghana Breweries PLC. Now, Deco Craft, a proud Ghanaian chocolate producer, has pledged to stick to quality sourcing in order to provide customers with the best product. The company will be showcasing their product at the EcoBank Joy Business SME Fair, which takes place from Friday, October 31 to Sunday, November 2 at the Good Park near Accra Mall. Ahead of the fair, General Manager of Deco Craft, Stephen Nass, said the company is prepared to offer customers amazing discount.
At Deco Craft, what we do is we produce specialized handmade chocolates, in fact healthy chocolates, to our clients or consumers, having in mind the healthy aspect of it. At Deco Craft, we have KB chocolates in different flavors and ranges. So when we talk about the bar chocolates, we have dark bar chocolates and we have milk bar chocolates. This year's EcoBank Joy Business SME Fair, which is going to take place somewhere around 31st October to 2nd November, is going to be fun, and I'm going to be there. So please try and come, book a date. There you can have so many crazy deals going on, deals you never expected, sales at the lowest price you can think of.
Stephen Na as the General Manager of Deco Craft, a proud Ghanaian chocolate producer. And that's all for business on Newsnight with me, James H.N. Evans.
James, thank you very much. It's still live. Your Newsnight is on Joy 99.7 FM. A few of your messages on our WhatsApp console. Samuel says, on a more serious note, our parliamentarians need to sit up. I suggest a weekly publication of attendance in the national dailies. And this has no name but says those who sign the National Health Insurance contract must be held accountable. Why should a private company hold citizens' biometric details? David in Akachi South. If taxpayers' tax wasted on absentee MPs, then I don't know where we're going as a country. They shouldn't take us for granted. Guy Fawkes in Tema says, is it not clear to all by now that the poor attendance of MPs in Parliament indicates clearly how seriously they take their jobs? This is a classic impunity in power. After all, what can we do as a people to them? Are we even interested in taking action as citizens? And I'll take more of your messages, 055 1111997. We can now hear from the Paramount Chief of Inkusukum Traditional Area, who will be speaking to us about the challenges they are facing when in dealing with the problem of illegal mining pretty shortly. But he's been speaking in the context, he's been speaking about the challenge of dealing with people who are destroying their water bodies. In Elmina, water has become a luxury. Elderly residents now roam the town, desperate to find fuel liters to survive. Families are forced to rely on sachet water to cook and even to bath. There's more in our series titled Dear Mahama, Stop Galamsey.
Water has become a luxury. For weeks, taps have run dry, and for many here in the central region, even a single bucket of water is a blessing. For hours, 72-year-old Jennifer does the race by the tap, the same one she's visited every morning this week. Sometimes it flows at dawn, and sometimes not at all. She does not leave, because if she does, she will miss the moment it opens. At her age, the search for water has become her daily routine. When the tap fails, she turns to sachet water, 2 sachets to rinse her cassava, 2 more to boil it, each one costing money she does not have. But what choice does she have?
Grandma Jennifer's struggle is not hers alone. Across Almina, hundreds wake up to the same search, buckets in hand, hope in heart. They all say one thing: this suffering must end. With the River Bra heavily polluted by illegal mining, the Setrahiman water treatment plant is struggling to draw enough raw water. The result? Rationing, shortages, and rising frustrations. We met a man moving from house to house, buckets in hand, searching for water. After several stops, he gave up, bought 3 cedis worth of sachet water, and went home to bath. 6 sachets. That's what it takes for a bath now. He did not want to speak on camera, but his silence said enough. Mabina too has not seen the bathroom today. Like many others, she's been waiting since morning, hoping the tap would open, even for a few minutes. Her last proper bath was 2 days ago. Elizabeth manages a small private water business started by her late father. Her home has now become a gathering point for dozens of residents. The people of Elmina are not asking for much, just water to drink, to cook, and to live. They say the promise by governments to stop illegal mining must not remain a campaign promise. It must be action that brings water back to their homes. Emmanuel Jivenu, Joy News, Elmina, Central Region.
Well, there's an appeal now for drastic measures to stop illegal mining. Listen to the Paramount Chief.
Masasu Masabande say you buy a good den of forest reserve the Mayu room in Sayanum Mayu room.
I will appeal to the government to stop mining in forest reserves and water bodies at all costs. Today, communities such as Yamransa, Achimfo, Mankasim and Cape Coast face severe water shortages. In Yamransa, there has been no water for about 7 days. When I asked about the erratic supply, they said Galamsey has destroyed the water bodies.
What's the Galamsey for no? And I was saying Sunina, Honorable Minister, Wadaruma, Bomazi, Nakawiduma, Riano.
Let's speak to Eric Stanley Aqua. He's MC for Fantiman, joins us on the line right now. So, how is your assembly dealing with this problem? Hello, Eric.
Hello, sir.
Yes. How is the assembly dealing with the problem? The problem with the water situation, but also the illegal miners.
Okay. Thank you very much for having me, and good evening to your cherished listeners. Yes. So rightly so. Over the weekend we celebrated Odambia Festival, where the Paramount Chief of Nkusukum traditional area, in his quest to put forward many other requests to the government through me and the regional minister, did indicate that he would actually plead with us to work things out so as to deal with the water shortages we find ourselves in our municipality. But the truth is that this perennial water shortages started some 9 months before the erstwhile MPP government came to an end, which means we came to inherit it. But when we came in, there was this perennial water shortage. Myself, Eric Stanley Alpha, Infantiman KK, together with my MP, Dr. Ebenezer Prince Kojo, we had to meet with the manager of the basic room water treatment plant center or station, where because we wanted to first of all appreciate what is causing the water shortages. So when we go to the center, the manager at the center gave several reasons for the shortages of water. One of such is as a result of the galamsey that happens at the Praso. So usually when the water falls or the rain falls, it's actually run over from the Asun area through to the dam that we have at the treatment center, Bedroom in Mankasim. So as a result of these galamsey activities, water is no more flowing through the various source points to the dam. So we engaged them, and it's like we appealed to the regional manager for water works. We even invited the Minister of Water and Resources to come. When they came, we also realized that it is not only the Galamsey, though Galamsey contributes almost about 80% of the water shortages. But there were also technical issues. One of such was the old machines that have been there for several decades without, repairs, without new installations and all of that. And so my MP, through his effort to the West and Water and West Minister, was able to procure new machines for the treatment center at Magasin David. And so water started flowing through the tap. But as usual, something that is ongoing, I'm talking about the Galamsey, because they have not stopped, doing the Galamsey activities or engaged in Galamsey activities in the Praso, Asin, Enclave. And so whenever the rain falls, instead of us to get a continuous flow of water from that end, we rather, do not get the water. And so getting the water almost every day has actually become a problem.
And do you have, Eric, do you have Galamsey in Infanteman?
No, please. But you see, when the rainwater falls, it actually draws from the various, sources point from the Asin Enclave through to our district. We have this,
so you're simply bearing the brunt of what is happening upstream.
Yes. Yes. So they normally we source our water from those enclaves, from the Asin, Fosu, Asin Cross through the Ochi, where we finally store them at the water storage point, the dam, for the treatment, and then probably subsequently we do the supply to the various pumping sites. And so as a result of Galamsey, in the Praso Asin Enclave, we are unable to get enough water for treatment and subsequently for supply for the various homes.
Yeah.
And other
so you're seeing the face of the problem, and your people are suffering as a result of it.
Yes,
what
right.
Yeah, what for you as the MCE, the Municipal Security Chair, what do you think, having assessed the problem of Galamsey, it will take to end it so your people get clean water?
Well, you see, we are all of us must put our shoulders to the wheel in a fight against Galamsey. Because this is something that is bothering all of us. Galamsey, though people intend to make their living out of that activity, but the kind of danger that it possesses to the citizens of Ghana and in fact for that matter is just too much. It's just unbearable. And so we all of us are trying to advocate and sensitize, educate people that look.
Yeah, I mean by education, I mean you're dealing with criminals who are killing your people there. The suggestion is that you need very briefly. You need more drastic interventions to deal with this matter because you're dealing with criminals. The suggestion is that one way to deal with this is to have a state of emergency.
The activity is not happening in my.
No, I know, I know, but you're bearing the brunt of what is happening upstream. Your colleagues close to you in the other municipalities are also there. Would you support a state of emergency, for example?
Yes. In fact, I think all of us must come together. So I would engage my colleague MMDCs in those areas within the region so that we all come together. Then we actually put our heads together as the chair of various security councils so as to bring all those who are engaged in illegal mining to book.
Thank you very much. And that's Eric Stanley Akwa, is the MCE there for Infanteman. And if you live in that area, let's continue the conversation on our many social media platforms. You can find that full report on our social media platforms. And Accra may soon be choked by garbage. The city's waste management system may be on the brink of collapse because members of the Environmental Service Providers Association are poised to strike, threatening to suspend operations over delayed payments. With a workforce of over 10,000 members and 67 official waste contractors, the impact is expected to be massive. Government is set to owe the service providers over 1 million cedis in arrears, spanning 3 years. Executive Secretary of the Association, Ama Entry, warned the government's inaction will plunge the city into a nightmare.
ESPA is therefore calling for urgent government intervention to address the mounting operational and financial distress confronting our members. ESPA has engaged with the Ministry of Local Government, Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs, as well as all relevant parliamentary select committees to facilitate payment of our members. Unfortunately, these efforts have yielded little progress. However, we call on the government to, as a matter of urgency, make payments to avoid a shutdown by the 7th November 2025. We therefore appeal to the government for the immediate release of outstanding payments owed to all waste management contractors by the 7th of November 2025. Without this intervention, service providers may be forced to suspend operations nationwide, a move that could trigger a national sanitation and health emergency. This measure, if taken, would lead to the outbreak of diseases such as cholera, typhoid, malaria, and many others.
And several traders at Agbogbloshie Market are set to face the law after ignoring repeated warnings to improve sanitation under the Clean Ghana campaign. The arrest came after a surprise visit from the Clean Ghana Task Force, and they've descended on the market to clear traders operating in insanitary conditions. Director of the Clean Ghana campaign, Florence Kuchi, says her outfit will not relent until sanity is fully restored.
Believe you me, if I remove this pallet, you will see rotten yam inside the drain. They trade and then they push in the waste of the trade inside the drain and cover it up. In order not to leave it and go for them to come, we are carrying the things away. If we cannot arrest human beings, we'll arrest the product. The human being will follow the product and come.
And we're following the Clean Ghana campaign. It's across our social media platforms too. Now to the NSMQ. The 2025 National Science and Maths Quiz has reached its defining stage with 27 schools booking quarterfinal spots after a 1/8 phase filled with comebacks, heartbreaks and brilliance. The results reveal strong regional trends. Schools from South and Middle Belt continue to dominate, with the Ashanti and Central regions leading the charge with 6 quarterfinalists each. Yet the absence of any school from the Northern region stands out, depicting enduring gaps in access and performance across Ghana's educational landscape. There's more in this report.
This year's results tell a compelling story of shifting academic ties and regional power play. While schools from the South and Middle Belts continue to make their mark, the Ashanti and Central regions stand tall, each producing 6 formidable quarterfinalists and reinforcing their dominance. The Ashanti region in particular celebrates 2 debutants making their first ever quarterfinal appearances, a sign of new strength rising from familiar grounds. Quiz mistress Dr. Anita Opon attributed the success to investments made in the regions.
I'm not as surprised because, as they say, Central region is the citadel for education, and we know Ashanti region has a lot of schools, especially the second cycle schools. It goes to say that the investment is very high because
So the investment is high there, but the challenge is in the northern part of the country. And you can catch that full report across the many social media platforms. And we're talking about the Central region. One of the big schools there, they call themselves Wegehe. Turns out that they've been competing. They've been very happy to just participate. Well, there's a lady in the studio with me who is a proud alumnus of that particular school, and she's been complaining to me off air She can't even recall the name of the school that kicked them out. Kicked them out. Hello, anyone, Mado.
Oh, the line is very bad, whoever. So I can't hear you.
You can't
very
hear me,
well.
okay?
Hello.
Let me clear my throat.
Hello.
Can you hear me now?
Network issues.
Network issues.
Network issues.
Oh my goodness. What happened to you people?
I don't know. I can't.
Are you so proud of the school though?
Of course. I mean,
proud.
Wesley Girls is Wesley Girls.
Really? Wesley Girls used to be Wesley Girls.
No, Wesley Girls is Wesley Girls.
Used to be.
And I get that, NSMQs, of course, it's a big deal, but there's competition, which is competition in a competitive setup.
Competition, which is competition.
Which in a competitive setup. And then there's school.
You go explain tire.
There's school and there's life and, there's WASI and there's the products of. And it's not great that we're not doing well. I'm not going to, run away from that. But it doesn't change that we're still the best to ever do it.
Yeah, you go explain tire.
I'm not tired. I can keep explaining. You know what I mean? I'm really not tired.
Which is competition.
Which is in a competitive setting.
Oh, I love that.
Live pure. We are speaking true. But anyway.
What do you have on Strong and Sassy?
Evans. So last week we were talking about Monjaro and losing weight on medicine. Now, do you know something? I'm not afraid to grow old anymore.
Okay, why?
Because I can buy beauty. I can buy Botox, fillers, profile balancing. I can fill my lips. I can do injections which will make my eyes, go
you
up.
Can prevent
I can
skin wrinkling.
I can bring, it's crazy. So we're continuing with our Beauty in the Bottle series, but today we're talking about beauty treatments and how far, that has come, but also I guess the freedom that it gives women if you can afford it though.
Yeah, what about men though? I mean, do you have anything for men?
I'm sure men can do everything that women can do too. So, you can do fillers and profile balancing. I mean, why not?
Right.
You know what I mean? Why not?
What you mean. You want to stay strong and sassy. Up next, we're Doreen Boama Orchard. That's the guest. And she's going to be spending time with Mado.
Yes, please. Thank you.